Well, right from the first edition, published in 1983, the editors of the Oxford Textbook of Medicine, in those days it was David Warrell, John Ledingham and myself, decided that we want to break away from the parochial view that what you needed to know about medicine was just what you found, as it were, in your backyard, and to address the globalization of medicine and travel, so that nowadays an acute general physician working in the home counties might easily confront a case of what would previously be considered a rare exotic disease, one of these tropical diseases. So an aim of the textbook was to become much more international in its field, and this was very exciting because we could recruit a geographically diverse group of authors, which added greatly to the overall interest of the book. But also I think we've been proved right, because since the 1980s the impact of so-called tropical diseases and foreign diseases on medicine in any part of the Western world has increased enormously.
This book is an international textbook of medicine, not just related to practicing in a rich, sort of developed country. And sparing David's blushes, one of the key sections and distinctive features of this book is the infectious diseases section, which does give a wonderful range of vivid accounts of infectious diseases such as you won't find in any other textbook of medicine. And with increasing globalisation, ease of air travel, these are not just conditions that are found somewhere else, they are conditions that are found here and need to be recognised by doctors who are caring for patients.
Yes, and there's one other aspect perhaps one could bring into the international concept is of the attempt to, as it was described earlier, the underpinning science of medicine and cell physiology, molecular biology, immunology. There are people in the world who don't have the benefit of very much postgraduate reinforcement of their education, very much solidity in their scientific education, and we hope it's probably incomplete, and to be worked on. We hoped in the early chapters to try and give a perspective of science as applied to medicine more generally, to recap on the molecular cell physiology and immunology and some genetics, cancer genetics for example, very important subject, for people who perhaps were now way away from the universities, perhaps in lands abroad from their own origins, just to give them that little bit of chance to see that perspective again of science underpinning the practice. It's not close enough, but it's certainly an attempt to put that right.
We'd like to feel that the readership of this textbook is truly international, and this has been greatly facilitated in the case of the 5th edition by the Wellcome Trust WHO Hinari donation, which means that many libraries in developing countries are able to get the book free of charge. And this has been another ethical problem about spending a great deal of our efforts on something that is only going to be available exclusively to relatively wealthy people in Western countries.